You cannot get that. You shall not pass. Yeah, you see that? That's you, little one. Hi guys, this is Connie. This is Baby Bear. And happy Valentine's Day. Or some people do Happy Single Awareness Day. I'm not all that worried about it anymore. Obviously, I'm at a different point in my life where Valentine's Day, it's not that it doesn't matter, but I think it's important to show love to yourself, show love to those around you every day, not just on Valentine's Day. And somebody is super enthralled with my phone. This morning, I almost thought about doing this video in the morning while I was thinking about it, because I almost felt like doing like a true love waits sort of thing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you never ran in those Christian circles growing up. True love waits was an idea where you talk about abstaining from sex until marriage, which is still a thing. I know I did it, and I know a lot of people do it, but it's also, apparently it seems like a foreign concept with just worldly thinking. The idea is that, you know, oh, we're in love, we'll get married whenever, you know. I'm curious to know people's opinions on their virginity, because like, while a lot of it rested in my faith, I made a choice when I was 13 years old that I was like, I want to save myself until I get married. I don't need to complicate my life. In all honesty, I was actually afraid I was going to get pregnant as a teenager if I decided to have sex before I got married. Not to mention later on, as I start like learning venereal diseases and STIs or STDs, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, herpes is an incurable disease. You can treat the symptoms, but you can't make it go away. And AIDS is still a thing. I remember having a conversation on my school bus, I think my second year, with some middle schoolers who were asking about that same sort of concept. They're like, you know, is it true if you have sex before marriage it's a sin and you're gonna go to hell? And I said, well, the short answer, based on what I believe, is yes, but there is so much more to it than that. I said, even if you don't believe the same things I believe and you don't agree with the same things I believe in, I said, think about this. You're in middle school. You're still under your parents' like responsibility. You know, there are so many things that change now that I'm on the other side of like growing up through middle school, growing up through high school. There are a lot of things that change in that world that are not the same as when you transition into adulthood. So to do something like being sexually active, I feel like it just complicates things where they don't need to be complicated. And it was funny because even having that conversation a couple different times on my bus, I had one girl who was friendly with me, but you know, she even said in her own weird, strange way, she was trying to say, well, you don't have a problem with that because you're overweight and, you know, you probably don't have any prospects. And I was like, honey, just because this is what it is doesn't mean that you can't go and get some. Trust me, if you want to go and do that sort of thing, you will find it. And you'll actually find it pretty easily. I think it's more of a challenge and worthwhile to wait, because I have no regrets. And even now the regrets I have are the fact that I kissed a couple of boys that weren't my husband, and most of them were jerks, and most of them were creepers, and you know, but I love that I get to share intimacy with my husband that I've never shared with anybody else before, and he was the same way. And you know, now we have this beautiful girl, beautiful baby, and another one in heaven. Baby Button was our first kid that I miscarried. I mean, there's so many things that could complicate life, especially at a young age when you're still trying to figure out what's what for what. in your own head and you're still living with your parents, you're still living under your parents' responsibility, and like, I thought about that right off the bat. I was like, what if I get pregnant? What if I do something stupid with somebody that I don't want to be connected to for the rest of my life? And, you know, I now have a tiny little life that I have to like help take care of. I can't even take care of myself at that age, much less take care of a kid. So I'm basically asking my parents, who would be the grandparents of this kid, to raise my kid for me, with me. And that just seemed so unfair, you know, especially since that's my baby, that's my choice. And yeah, and that's like, that's where I come from, and that's what I've always told even family members and friends of mine that don't agree and don't follow the same kind of faith that I do. I'm like, you whether you realize it or not, you're giving more than just your body. You are giving like a piece of your life that's really important, and it can affect the rest of your life, not just in here, but just certain things that happen that you expose yourself to, emotionally and physically. So, yeah, it's very easy to get caught up in the moments, and one thing leads to another. But if you make a choice and you understand why you are making that choice, beyond just saying it's the right thing to do, you also need to know that that's the right thing to do for you. And even beyond that selfishness, it's knowing that I wanted to honor God with my life in that way. And that's what he calls us to if we choose to live for God. So that's it in a nutshell. Wow, that's been 7 minutes. I want to say that, you know, essentially me and my crazy hair, I've stopped caring a long time ago, and I've learned to embrace the awkward and very, the parts of me that I'm not very loving with myself, and just say, I enjoy who I am as a human being, and the things that I don't enjoy, I know that I can make choices to change and become the person I want to be, a better rendition of me, a better example for my daughter, a better example for friends, family, and you. But it also just reminds me to, especially with finding out that there was another mass school shooting in Florida. And it's easy to say my thoughts and prayers are with somebody, and understand that some people are like, oh, thoughts and prayers, oh, thoughts and prayers. Well, you know what? Prayer is a powerful thing, and where you put your thoughts are incredibly important and drive where you go in your day and in your life. So I don't say that to be flippant. I say that to say I will begin to pray and continue to pray for those situations, and hope and pray that our government will get over themselves and not just get on the ball politically, but understand what our country actually needs and help get something done. And it makes me want to be more involved and more educated, so that I know what I'm getting into, especially with the with certain election terms coming up this year, that we can understand and change things that need to be changed, change people out if that's what needs to be done. So I think a lot of it is just being thoughtful beyond, oh, it's Valentine's Day, I don't feel this, I don't feel that. Learn to love yourself regardless of what day it is, and appreciate where you are at, and know that every day is temporary. It's always another new day, and regardless of how long or how arduous it might be, you still have this day to make a difference, and you are not alone. With that being said, it's way past my daughter's bedtime, which means it's way past my bedtime, and this video is a lot longer than I anticipated. So I hope you appreciated the ramblings. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Be careful with that and enjoy, please and thank you, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, so you'll see Connie Reads and a video, one take, 1-8. Today was February 14th. Have a great day, and good night.